Once, I took on a role as a direct care aide for Martha, a 65-year-old woman living with a developmental disability. Martha's daughter, Colleen, who worked overnight shifts, was looking for someone with medical expertise to watch over her mother during the night. This engagement was a one-time occurrence, and the events of that single night are precisely why I never returned. Martha's condition meant that she required vigilant supervision, especially during the night when confusion and wandering were common occurrences. Colleen's decision to hire me may have stemmed from a lack of alternative family support or a desire to provide Martha with familiar care in her own home. Given my experience as a direct care worker for other individuals with developmental disabilities, Colleen entrusted me with Martha's care. However, nothing could have prepared me for the challenges that lay ahead. As Colleen departed for work that evening, I had already completed a full day of work myself, pushing my physical limits to maximize earnings. Colleen introduced me to Martha with a smile before escorting her to bed. It was around 9 p.m. when Colleen briefed me on Martha's nighttime habits, emphasizing the need to gently guide her back to bed if she wandered, a behavior not uncommon in individuals with dementia, a symptom of Martha's condition. With reassurances that I could handle the task, I settled into the living room, trying to pass the time until Martha's bedtime. The evening took a disturbing turn when I heard footsteps upstairs. Concerned, I called out to Martha, receiving no response. Venturing upstairs, I found Martha's door closed, indicating she might have retired for the night. However, my peace was short-lived. As I fetched a sandwich from the kitchen, I encountered Martha unexpectedly, causing me to startle and drop the plate in fright. Despite my attempts to calm her, Martha's confusion escalated into loud accusations of my presence. Despite the unsettling encounter, I managed to guide Martha back to her room with a glass of water and melatonin to aid her sleep. Exhausted, I went to sleep in the spare bedroom Colleen had offered, hoping for a few hours of rest. However, my sleep was interrupted by ominous sounds emanating from downstairs, prompting me to investigate. What I discovered in the kitchen was straight out of a horror movie. Martha, shrouded in darkness, repeatedly opening and slamming the oven door. The eerie scene escalated when Martha, brandishing a kitchen knife, advanced towards me with hostile intent. Fearing for my safety, I pleaded with her to put down the weapon. As the situation escalated, I made a split-second decision to flee the house, prioritizing my own safety over attempting to reason with a potentially dangerous individual. Following protocol, I contacted Colleen, who returned to find Martha seemingly asleep, unaware of the perilous encounter that had transpired. Despite my vivid account of events, Colleen initially dismissed the severity of the situation until the discovery of the knife corroborated my story. Refusing to compromise my safety further, I declined Colleen's offer to stay and promptly left the premises, never to return. Martha's episode that night surpassed any challenge I had encountered in my 9 years as a direct care worker, serving as a stark reminder of the unpredictable nature of caregiving. It was my inaugural day at the plumbing company, and my first assignment led me to a remote house in an unfamiliar area. The company, with its 5 employees, operated under the owner's direction, who assigned tasks accordingly. However, it felt more than coincidence that my first job landed me in such an undesirable location far away from the city center. The task seemed straightforward enough: fix a leaky pipe under the sink, a common issue in plumbing. As I arrived at the house, its dilapidated appearance struck me immediately, a stark contrast to the well-maintained homes I was used to servicing. The door opened to reveal a middle-aged man with an unsettling demeanor. His wide smile seemed disproportionate, and his high-pitched voice added to the discomfort. Entering the house, I noticed the absence of furniture, suggesting recent occupancy. The man led me to the kitchen, where I began assessing the plumbing issue. However, his intrusive presence, looming over me, made the situation increasingly uncomfortable. Politely requesting space only yielded minimal compliance, exacerbating my unease. Upon inspecting the sink, I realized there was no leak. Confusion ensued when I discovered the water supply had been deliberately shut off. The man's nonchalant explanation for this oversight only deepened my suspicions. His departure upstairs, followed by the sound of multiple footsteps, triggered a sense of impending danger. Instinctively, I decided to leave, sensing that the situation could escalate unpredictably. Hastily gathering my tools, I made a swift exit, choosing not to confront the unsettling individual. Despite my usual confidence, there was something about the atmosphere that unsettled me deeply. Upon informing my boss of the incident, I opted to downplay the encounter as a prank, masking my genuine apprehension. Further investigation revealed the house to be vacant and abandoned, raising more questions than answers. The discovery that the call originated from a non-existent number only added to the mystery. Concerned for others' safety, I reported the incident to the local authorities, hoping to prevent similar encounters for unsuspecting individuals. With no desire to revisit that eerie neighborhood, I completed my tenure with the plumbing company, grateful to leave that unsettling experience behind. In the fall of 2019, I found myself starting a new job journey with Domino's Pizza. It was my debut night, and the anticipation was high as I entered into the realm of pizza delivery, a means to support my college expenses. The night held promise, or so I thought, as I began my training, a crucial step in the initiation process. Accompanied by the manager and another trainee, both unfamiliar faces, we embarked on our first delivery of the night. The late hour, around 8:00 p.m., signaled the beginning of a series of events that would forever haunt my memory. Unlike modern setups, our store relied on mobile devices for navigation, adding an element of uncertainty to our journey. The destination led us off the beaten path, into the desolate outskirts of town. The house we approached stood as a relic of bygone years, its dilapidated facade casting shadows of apprehension. As we loaded the pizzas into my car, a sense of foreboding began to settle upon us. The house was standing in front of us, an ominous sight amidst the darkness of the night. Its exterior whispered tales of abandonment, a stark contrast to the warm glow of the Domino's delivery light. Reluctantly, we made our way to the front door, our footsteps echoing against the silence of the night. A peculiar sense of unease settled upon us as we approached the door. The new trainee's nervous demeanor mirrored my own growing apprehension. His mention of someone watching us from an upstairs window only served to heighten our collective discomfort. With each passing moment, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. The door creaked open, revealing a figure cloaked in darkness. His partial reveal sent shivers down our spines, his words dripping with a false veneer of friendliness. As he disappeared into the depths of the house, we found ourselves frozen in place, our senses on high alert. The minutes stretched into eternity as we waited, our nerves fraying with each passing moment. The sound of footsteps from above only added to our growing sense of dread, confirming our worst fears. With a sense of urgency, our manager ventured into the unknown, leaving us stranded at the threshold of uncertainty. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the pounding of our hearts and the distant sound of frantic footsteps. In that moment of terror, as the darkness closed in around us, we made a silent pact to flee, our instincts screaming for escape. With trembling hands, I gripped the steering wheel, my foot heavy on the accelerator as we sped away from the nightmare that had unfolded before us. As the adrenaline began to fade, reality set in, and with it, the realization of what we had narrowly escaped. The manager's revelation of a chilling encounter in the darkness confirmed our worst fears, casting a shadow over our newfound employment. In the aftermath of that fateful night, the decision to part ways with Domino's was unanimous, a testament to the trauma we had endured. The memory of that encounter would forever linger, a haunting reminder of the dangers that lurk beneath the surface of ordinary life.